Oh no. What little thing do we want to start off with though?
Oh, that's
Little improvements.
Yeah, what are little improvements that we can make? Croc knows a lot about little improvements.
Yeah.
what little thing do you want to stop?
Had several people call me little thing before, and it's what are you gonna do? But yeah, like I don't know, like to me it's just the UI. Like I was pleasantly surprised. I was playing Oxy like 2 weeks ago, and there was something that told us that we were in the wrong game mode. Just like a little drop down like message, and dude, it was so relieving just seeing that little message. I'm like, oh my god, like Gaijin's doing something
What game are you
to
playing? You
improve the
playing
UI.
Warzone?
We were trying to play. We were trying to play like arcade planes or whatever, but I had a
Oh.
tank selected probably, and it told me like you're in the wrong game mode.
Nice.
And just that little message, I'm like, Gaijin's doing something to improve the AI, like that's or UI, like this is incredible. But again, the UI is how old now? Like 3 years old, and it's ancient, and it's just almost
Oh, they've
impossible to
updated
navigate
it.
for a new
They
player.
should
They've
just
updated
they
it
should just
3
flip
years
back
ago.
and change the script on everybody and make the 20 tier system again.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, that'd be hot.
That's not a little change. That's like the old.
I thought we were going to talk about good suggestions.
That's where you were wrong. Like Oxy, what would you change? Like this is a. Do you have any little suggestions that you would actually want
Oh,
to
hold on.
change?
But
about the
before
game?
we start, for anybody watching on YouTube, welcome back to Angle Better Podcast. This is the podcast that starts basically every Sunday at 12 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. GMT. I don't know what Central Time is. Just get a calculator. And then...
1 hour later than Eastern.
Yeah, about. But there's also like that one time that's 2 hours, and then there's the place that's like Rocky Mountain time. Like, what the fuck is Rocky Mountain time? Do they have different time because they're up in the altitudes? I don't know. You know, something like that. And then Cali's on a different time.
Wait, real quick. Do you know how time zones work?
Yeah, of course I know how time zones work. I was just making a
Doesn't
joke.
sound like you do.
All right, that's crazy. That's crazy. I knew where the Grand Canyon was. So obviously I know how time zones work.
That's a weird justification, but okay.
It's a weird
Is
flex.
Rocky Mountain the cake?
No.
That's Rocky Road ice cream.
Oh.
So if you look at a map of the USA, there's a big load of fucking mountains on the one side, and it's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Rocky Mountains.
Calling them the Rocky Mountains are just stupid. Surely all mountains
You're thinking
are
of Rocky Road.
Yeah,
but
that's what I just said.
why would they even label the mountains as the Rocky Mountains? Aren't all mountains rocky?
No,
Because
these
Americans are unimaginative.
absolutely
really
not. These ones
Kappa.
they're seriously rocky. Like they're
Seriously,
called the Rocky Mountains because like you can't pass them unless you have like a
fucking
plane.
rockier than the Himalayas, dude.
You'll die.
Mountain.
Like
Rocky.
The Himalayas. That's an interesting name. No, I wanna know what that means.
what
But
about the
Rocky, it's
Appalachians? Do you like the Appalachians? Those are also in America. Apparently, we're unfucking.
I never.
Wait, now that we're on the
was one
topic,
that
how
said
many
that.
mountains does your country have, Oxy?
I'm not trying to gatekeep mountains.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just saying.
what I
it's
thought.
stupid.
That's what I thought. Oh, we got a ton of Rocky Mountains by the cliffs of Dover. Yeah, it's
I
chalk.
mean, we have got like the Peak District and Snowdonia,
The what?
all the other ones by Ben Nevis and the Highlands. You know,
The Highlands. See, that's just a
the
cop out.
Highlands.
That's
you
a
know,
cop
like-
out. You're
like-
telling
like
me
most of Scotland is quite high up and
Yeah.
mountainous.
Yeah, so you're telling me that the Rocky Mountains is not a cool name, but the Highlands is somehow superior because it's just as obscure.
Oh, I'm not. I have no horse in this
So-
race.
All right.
I mean, Highland, Lowland, Middle Land. This wasn't the initial discussion.
No,
I feel this has gone a bit too far.
it's 100% the original
We
discussion.
just talked
Little
about War
things in
Thunder,
War
dude.
Thunder, by the way. Little things in War Thunder.
Yeah. I didn't think this far ahead.
Well, we're
when I
not. We
suggested
were
it.
just, we were just starting things off. Let me tweet about the stream because we got to go on Twitter.
What is going on? Oh, what happened to my camera then? There was like Twitch fucking bits everywhere. What was that?
It's best not to
Yeah,
ask.
but real talk. Like, what would you guys change about War Thunder? Like, just the little shit. Like,
I'd put the
obviously,
Rocky
we're talking-
Mountains in game with proper fucking naming. I mean, to
I
be
would
honest.
like,
It's sick
and
map,
I have suggested
Colorado.
this. I've suggested this to the Gaijilla community managers on the Gaijilla Discord for all them people what make videos and stuff. Vehicles that you don't own, like event vehicles and stuff, you have no way of previewing them to know what they like.
Mm.
So the IS7 is a good example. Like there's plenty. I didn't grind for one. I didn't want it. Don't want it. I've got a heated 7.0 that'll go through an ammo racket. All right. But if people are new to the game and they haven't had the opportunity to unlock it, and they don't want to spend several £100 to buy one, or £200, whatever it is, $200, lot of money. I want a system where you can preview all the event vehicles.
Yep.
I want to be able to preview stuff and look at the armor profiles of stuff, not necessarily for my own benefit, but for people coming into the game. They're going to have all these event vehicles. They don't know how to kill. They don't know where the ammo rack is and this and that. And it would be much handier to be able to preview Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same way you can do it in a penetration indicator, where you can select the different vehicles, right? But imagine instead of selecting the vehicles that are going to fire the shell, you're selecting the vehicle that's going to get hit. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
kind
good
of that
point.
idea.
Why won't this play?
I want that.
Why won't this video play?
Especially for newer players, because like I7, I guess your first, let's say their first like tier 5 is a Leo 1 with just APDS, so they're pretty much useless.
Mm.
And then they run into an IS7, like they're not going to know what to. Again, he can go through without issue, but like a new player just reaching tier 5, like they're going to struggle with
APDS,
that.
I don't know what's happened, but APDS has become somewhat more reliable since the
Yeah,
Centauro came out.
Why
I'd
does this
agree.
not
It's
load?
not going to depend like an IS7 though.
Find out why,
Right,
YouTube.
so-
Why am I
How about-
experiencing interruptions?
Oxy's
when-
downloading Apex.
That shouldn't have anything to do with my what is going
Oh,
on?
you're doxing yourself.
I almost did.
Oh, you're getting doxxed, dude.
I almost did.
Fuck, dude.
Why won't this load?
At least your gameplay was so shitty.
Oh
But,
my god, I'm about to just play like
Flick brought up this point like a while ago in a video. Like they should create like a game mode and maybe like an event or whatever where you're allowed just a high tier helicopter plane and a high tier tank, or like any tier tank and plane, and just have people kind of just play that event. I think it'd be good for newer players. Like,
Yes.
imagine just playing War Thunder and all you want is a high tier vehicle. Now you have an event, you can do it every once in a while. Like I think that would be a incentive enough for keep like newer players involved.
agreed.
Uh-huh.
I think
For viewing for viewing rare vehicles and stuff and looking at the, like when I first started playing, every vehicle, even the hidden ones, were like visible to look at. They were on the tree, and they were just labeled as gift vehicle. So the thing with that is you could look at them and look at the armor or all the specifications, but you'd get like the forum was flooded with new players saying, like, how do I get this vehicle that's in the because it says gift next to it and like bundle, and people are like, where do I get the bundle, where do I get the gift or whatever.
yeah.
So I don't like, do you think it would be beneficial to put things like the IS7 or the KV220 in the tech tree in the premium section to kind of look, or do you think it would just cause
They should just
problems?
make a section to the right of all the premiums with another bar that says event vehicles, and then just show like all the past event vehicles, just in case you run into them.
Mm-hmm.
And they should accurately say like, hey, this was earned through the summer event of 2017, or this was the winter event of 2016, like, and then you can't get it anymore, not available for purchase anymore, or something like that, just so people know like, hey, why can't I get this? Oh, it was from this event. Okay, this is how I kill it.
It's a really simple thing to implement, because if you the mechanic of the way, like when you look at the coupons that you've got, right, you right click preview the coupons, you haven't got the vehicle, it's not in a tech tree, you just right click preview. So all you have to do is build a system where you can just have all those boxes, right click preview, done.
Yeah.
It's not super complicated.
No, but I think that would definitely improve quality of life as a new player, because then you don't run into an IS7 and be like, whoa, hey,
Okay, but
whoa.
talking about UI again, like how frequently do you think new players actually use that feature where they get to look at the armor values and
Well, it's
and
not.
tank and
There's
that?
absolutely zero telling people how to like learn War Thunder, and that needs to be fixed too.
I mean, shooting range and stuff like that, there are things that exist.
Yeah, but that's just because we know about them. Like, do they really tell you as a new player, like when you're coming into the game, like
I'm pretty
why
sure
why
they
isn't
don't.
there you know how there's that War Thunder mission where you can go shoot every vehicle in the game? Why isn't that like from Gaijin?
Yeah, they should really do something like that.
You know, where they
If they release like the new stuff, I mean, I know people who read the launcher, go on the dev server, like read all the patch notes, and they don't know that the protection analysis module is in the game to use. And like I've had people say like, "Oh, where do you find?" these are people that go out of their way checking.
I've had it dozens of times on stream where people have gone, "Oh my god, what's
Yeah.
that? How long has that been in?" And
Yeah.
I've gone, "It's just
So,
quite
like,
recent."
They need to expressly tell people that these things actually exist. Otherwise, people will just look through them.
Agreed.
Like, I feel we kind of fall into that kind of, I don't know what the actual term for it is, but because we play a lot and we know a lot about the game, we're just going to instinctively assume that everyone else knows the basic stuff that we do.
There is some name for it. It's like you assume the bar of knowledge is higher than it is.
Yeah, it's something like that. But there are, and maybe Gaijin are on the same page. I mean, there's loads of things in game that are really useful and really helpful that people just don't know about and probably wouldn't really unless they're expressly told, hey, this thing exists and it's helpful.
Well, okay, so another thing that I kind of want to nitpick, but that's not... So this is a small thing that's happened forever in War Thunder, and it's not Gaijin, for once. Like, this isn't us. You know what I mean? It's not me, like, a problem with Gaijin. It's the problem with the community where, like, something new will be said that it's going to be implemented, right? And I notice it, my chat, I'm sure you do too, Kath, like, the new penetration thing for the new rounds. People come in and bitch about it, like, before it's even in the game.
Yeah,
like, they're like, hey, this thing has, like, 300 mils of pen at top tier now. Like, I'm not going to be able to kill anything. It's like, bro.
Shut the
if you literally try... Yeah, first off, you got to wait for it to be in the game. That's my number one thing. But the second thing is, 250 to 300 mils of pen at top tier, you'd still be able to kill every single tank from all the weak spots that I shoot them anyway.
Exactly.
So it's not
people
like...
don't also look at normalization at all. Like
no, they
like,
don't.
With the British changes, like people are like, oh, this is getting nerfed. This is a British nerf. It's like, well, no, it actually has a higher penetration rate against like angled armor now.
Yeah,
like, this is what it should have.
So I don't have a problem with them fixing or trying to change or trying to evolve the game more, like making more accurate shells. That can only help if it works out properly. Like, if it's not a 1 pixel thing anymore and each shell is rendered as how big it is, like, that's great. I want that. Like, we can't... They
said they're not going to do that yet.
Not yet, but I think this is probably the change that's going to implement that. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you've got to think about it like they're not doing this to be like, haha, fuck the players of Vehicle X. They're doing this to have a complete standardization of the way that they calculate shell ballistics and stuff to stop people fucking crying about this shell or that shell being overpowered because this piece of paper says it is and that piece of paper says something different. It's like just a flat playing field for everything.
So
stuff's gonna get better, stuff's gonna get worse.
Exactly. Like my issue is, you know, like, and this is the vocal minority of the community. I'm not saying like it's the same people who come and bitch to me about repair costs. It's like, if you haven't got it yet, if you're still complaining about repair costs and you have an Abrams, you don't understand the game yet. You haven't, you know what I mean? Like, you haven't figured out that ARB is the secret to grinding SL. If you do that and then still do well in the Abrams, you're not going to lose any money in the game. If you grind a lot of trees equally and you play other vehicles in the game, you're not going to have as much trouble penetrating tanks. You're going to learn their weaknesses easier. You know what I mean? Like, there's all that stuff comes with experience, and people are trying to skip to the finish line. Like, they act like this game isn't 5 or 6 separate nations with a bunch of different content to to play and unlock from those nations, and they just automatically assume like, hey, if my tank is the Abrams, it should be able to carry me to victory. Or if this is the T60, you know what I mean? Like, T64 shouldn't be able to get penned by anything, or this round is too overpowered because I'm dying to it. It's like, if you played those tanks, you would feel hurt too because the Abrams would diddle you. It's like, you just gotta, I don't know, it's all about learning, and it just doesn't make it easier on the developers if everybody just like doesn't.
Who's gonna fall for that? Are the players gonna fall for it?
I think it's an endemic problem of War Thunder, honestly. It has always been this way, that people will like fucking, sorry, Square YouTube monetization.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
People bleep me out. Do a proper loud bleep, right?
Yeah.
Expect him to.
That people will moan and cry and you know, have massive problems with stuff before it's even implemented. It might even be just speculation. Like, I get it all the time in Twitch. People will come in and go, so what do you think the M1A1 is going to do for balance? It's like, there's no dev blog. It's not in the game. Why are you having a mental academic mental discussion about this thing with yourself, clearly.
And this loops back.
It's not even in the game.
It loops back to the whole thing. Like, we want to talk about little things, right? And like, that's what I've been trying to focus on. Little things that really bother me in War Thunder aren't repair costs, they aren't gun penetration, and they aren't balance. It's the map rotation and the game mode rotation and the quality of life things. You know, those things piss me off. And I wish that the vocal minority that bitches about the Centauro, for example, we already have somebody in chat who's like, Centauro needs to be fixed. Like, dude, it's been fixed. It gets one shot.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't play the Centauro, and you don't have a tier that fights the Centauro equally. I bet you don't have a 7-7, and the only time you see him is at 6-7. And that's why you're saying it's
going
good.
out of my way right now, right, to look through Gaijin news posts just to give you that patch, because you can't look and you don't read them in the launcher.
Okay, but 1 second. Again, like, don't you think it's partly in Gaijin? Like, every time a new vehicle comes out, they hype it to the point where it's, oh, this is the best vehicle ever made, and they just...
They don't hype it. We hype it. Fly hypes it, I hype it, other YouTubers hype it.
Gonna hype the vehicles up,
well,
right?
the dev blog is just to show that there's a vehicle there. The notion that hyping it has been created from, you know, us. Like, we've been doing that for years. Like, Fly, Baron, you know. That's like, it's the algorithm, but it's also new stuff. I'm obviously excited about new stuff. But what I don't want people to take from anymore is, like, if I say something's dope and I'm excited for it, it doesn't mean it's going to be an overpowered tank. It doesn't mean it's the craziest thing in the world. I like vehicles that aren't really overpowered. You know, I like quirky vehicles. Oxy, you're even more into that boat. Like, you like playing things and making things work that shouldn't, and they do, because you play well. So it's like, you can make anything work. You can make anything do that. But I think we need to focus, especially as a community, if you guys are just the ones that even started, you know what I mean? Like, the people watching this now and whatnot. Why don't we start complaining about, like, map rotation? Is that something we can all agree that is stupid, right? Like, the map rotation's bad?
For, like, a long time.
Yeah, we've already done it. But that's a little thing that's quality of life, right? Do you guys agree that map rotate... What's your biggest gripe with War Thunder right now?
I played last night for, like, a bit with Booty and Dami and Kurt, and we got the same map. We got, like, Finland 3 times in a row in Sim, and it was like, okay.
That's a way to interface on the day.
Yeah,
you will
experience
maps on different maze, more or less.
It decreases the server load if they kind of preload certain maps throughout, like, I don't know what the time frame is, but in a time block they'll favorite certain maps so it's less strain. So, you know, when you spawn into a map sometimes, like at the very start, and you see the mini map, sometimes it will have like 100 little enemy tank markers pop up for a second. That's like the server ghosting of it running the other maps. Running the same map on, like, in other scenarios at the same time. So it lessens the server load, and Gaijin, as far as I know, use quite old, outdated servers, so there's like a reason why they're...
World of Tanks has the same thing, and you'll never get the same map multiple times in a row because they don't allow you to. Like, even, like, they have, like, they separate into blocks of 6 or something like that, blocks of 8, and you'll never get the same map twice in a row or 3 times. Like, you won't see that map again until, like, you go through the entire rotation. Like, Gaijin could just implement.
That's not true.
No, that is true.
No, I've had the same maps in a big cluster in World of Tanks quite a few times.
No, not anymore. They fixed it. It's physically impossible to use the same map twice.
To be honest, it doesn't really bother me anyway. Like, there are maps that I think that are bad, but I will still play them.
See, I don't anymore. I've played for far too long. Like, I just don't have the patience to want to play.
Same time as you.
Yeah, I know, and maybe you're more forgiving. I can't, though. I need variety. I need the variety, and I need the different maps. And especially when the maps I actually genuinely enjoy in the game are the least played. For me, at least. Why is my fuck?
I mean, I like maps that are not typically well liked. I like Fulda a lot. I really like Fulda. I like Maginot. Not a fan of
Slick and I are map type. Like, I like large maps. Like, my favorite map of all time is
Good
some
start.
of the larger older maps, like Poland, like the large old Poland. Like, that's probably my favorite map of all time, and you don't see it anymore, which is fine because I get people find that boring. But at the same time, I really hate seeing that same map like twice in a row, or, like, you know, every other game. Like, it ruins the play session for me.
Not so much for the sake of freshening sim up.
I don't understand.
But for the sake of RB, if you could put some of the sim layouts into RB, and, you know, the sort of different map sections that sim uses that RB doesn't use, you never see them in RB. You just get 3 cap all the time, right? 1 cap maps I think, have more going for them than 3-cap, because 3-cap is just the same thing every time.
Well, isn't
1-cap
map just
when it,
Conquest?
yeah.
She's
Is
talking
it
about battle, but
domination? No.
No,
Doesn't matter what I
there's
was talking
battle
about. It's
and
just
Conquest.
there's sim layouts. There's areas of the map that you see in sim that you will never see in RB. The maps are different. Like
See, like, I
there's
see the player
different
base is, like,
portions
kind of
of the
separate.
map. Like there are different cap zones. Like that 1 and 2 Nizia, you can see it if you're in a plane. There's another cap zone that you never used in RB that is used in sim. Like that's one way to freshen it up. Like they have all these different layers of maps, but you only see 3-cap most of the time in RB. Even the simplest thing is just put more 1-cap in, more 1-cap variation, because the 1-cap variation is big, and there's a lot more sort of different. Like it changes the game when it's just 1-cap on one area of the map, because it changes the way you're flanking, where you're going, and what you're doing, and how you push. It focuses the map in a different way. And the other option is put those sim layers into RB. There's ways to freshen it up without introducing a load of new maps, but introducing a load of new maps that are playable as well needs.
This isn't what I'm saying. I don't think there should be like necessarily new maps. I just wish Vietnam, right? It's a map that's introduced. It looks like dog shit. It runs like dog shit. The trees fall over like dog shit, and there's a way to break both sides of the map.
It's fixed now.
Is it fixed?
The trees, yeah.
The trees, nice. So the spot that goes on top of the map that you can snipe anybody from across.
No, not done
it's
yet.
not. So they fixed the trees. That's solid, you know? Like that's really important. That's why I get frustrated. It's like things like that. It's like that doesn't fucking matter. Like it does not matter.
And, like, deliberately put destructible rocks there.
I know. They did
You
it.
know, and on the other side there isn't even any rocks. So why do these things exist? Were they meant to be some secret for the devs that no one else is going to notice? Because that doesn't happen in games, does it? People found that fucking... Oh, I've done it again. People found that marriage message in the Halo menu. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like a happy anniversary message from some game developer's husband.
My fucking YouTube will not load videos anymore when I stream. I don't understand it at all.
People find the craziest stuff.
It's a bad time.
It's so annoying. Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but Gaijin's always had like issues on their maps with like people getting outside the map. Like that's always been a thing ever since like tank beta. They fix it.
I mean,
then
if they
find a way around it because people are smart and they just keep going around it.
People are persistent. I mean, it might not necessarily be that they're smart, but they'll try for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and then finally find some weak spot that a dev couldn't find.
In Vietnam,
Did they ever fix those ones? Did they ever fix those ones on Berlin, where you can go literally outside the map?
I think so. I think they did. But I guess from their perspective, it's like it's such a tiny majority of the player base that are going to try and implement these. And it's like, is it really worth spending too much time going into it and fixing it? Because it's the same thing with like some certain tanks have particular tiny weak spots. I think one popped up recently on. There's like a weak spot on the Leo where if you put like a 50 cal round right in the right spot, it will cut right through and kill like one of the. And it's like that exists, but it's so like difficult to actually achieve. Is it worth putting loads of effort in to fix it? And I would say it is. It is worth it. I don't think
it's that hard to iterate a map and put some rocks in.
Yeah, it ruins Vietnam. Like it ruins how like playability in Vietnam for sure.
I've been on map creation teams for like armor and stuff, and it's not hard to just be like boop boop boop.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Re-render map done.
But on top of that, they also have to fix how the map plays like dog shit. Like it's just a bad map. You know what I mean? Like
it plays like dog shit partly because people move outside the map. But
yeah, but that's not the only reason. No. It's just so poorly designed. It's unbelievable. It's like
it's that there's no way. I think one of the things with Vietnam is that there is no simple way to push to the middle caps for the team that spawns on the eastern side to get to B. They have to sort of basically go to A or C, and then whoop. There's no sort of non-convoluted way to just go to B. So you already have this one team that can push to all the caps, and then the other team that's got to sort of struggle about the place. The terrain is uneven. Like the one side is all wetland, and the other side is all rocks and cover and trees and stuff. Like that does not work if it's a symmetrical game mode. where you're both attacking the same points. Having asymmetrical terrain doesn't work. You need to have symmetrical, like you need to have the same approach like the same approach time. You need to have the same sort of routes that people can get to the cap points evenly to have a competitive game. Now you might, you can throw into that say this at this tier, all of these tanks are faster than all of those tanks. Whatever, they need to have equal opportunity.
Yeah, no,
which is
there's like the parts on that map, right? So if you spawn on the left side of the map, you know what I'm talking about? On the top spawn,
yeah,
you can go up and you have to go through a river. And on the side of the river, the banks are so uneven and jagged, it looks absolutely terrible.
just goes like that for no reason.
What I don't understand is there's a map like what I'm showing right now is a sim game from Ash River. Ash River doesn't have any spots of that map where it doesn't look smoothed out. And it's just like, why would you, like, why rush it? Just make it a nice map. Like, just fix that. Like, you can do it. They have they have decorations and different tracks already built into terrain on the ground. Like, they could make it look nice. It doesn't have to be so shit.
It should be said that like early Ash River had like parts we could get outside the map on one side. It wasn't that easy.
Yeah, but it wasn't. What I'm saying is like how jagged and how terrible the map physically looks. Like it doesn't.
I mean, you can still kind of get up on the bridge. Is still possible.
Yeah.
In terms of
sorry,
the actual...
to wax on Vietnam for a second. What that jagged bit of riverbed says, or the bit the way you've got to like hoik up on the side, and some tanks can't even go up there, so you've got to go down the riverbed. What that says is that at no point did an internal playtester go, maybe that's a mistake.
Yeah. Nobody said anything about that.
That shouldn't be a 70 to 80 degree incline in the middle of what is modeled as if it's a
as if it's a tank, a heavily traffic area for tanks. Like it doesn't look like that.
Nobody internally play tested it and drove to A.
It's like it's like they were driving to A and they were like, Minecraft's dope.
Seems fine.
Minecraft's dope.
You know what I mean? Like it just looks lazy.
Hey, it's a gameplay feature. Not all tanks can climb this.
Because like
maximum inclination in meters.
Like looking at Ash River, it looks so good. You know what I mean? Like Ash River looks really good, and all of the stuff makes sense to where they have trees and they have these fucking things, and nothing seems too overcrowded. You can see from place to place. Vietnam.
Isn't that because like Ash River has like what 3-4 years to develop?
Of course. But you would think if they could do that in 3 to 4 years, that the progression was from updating their engine and updating their graphics. So you would think that every map that came out now shouldn't get a pass for, it just needs 4 years to cook. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, good point.
Give me something that's cooked already. I want to eat it. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to have to sit here.
I don't want to get salmonella, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go fucking pull the lettuce out of my goddamn map and then, like, get salmonella because I'm fucking hitting jagged edges and can't climb up with these tanks. I mean, like...
See, I have a theory at the moment through Gaijin's map design philosophy is that they're currently designing maps to the point where it's hard to stay alive on them. They're quite open in the point that you can't really find a spot like most of the old legacy maps where you can just sit and snipe and you'll be safe. So for like, American Desert and Vietnam, apart from spots that are broken, there's not really many parts of the map where you can stay or like kind of control a certain bit. Yeah, I think
especially from the air, like you're.
I mean, I do. What about the northern side of American Desert? Those dunes, people can boom drill on those dunes quite effectively.
Yeah, but you're a lot from the air, like pretty.
A lot of the spawn areas are a bit silly in how they're set up. I think
that spawn zone shouldn't be so big. I think I said this on a previous episode. Like the Northern American Desert spawn is a good example of what a spawn should be, but it's got a massive spawn dome that it's too big. It's got all the cover in the world, right? So the complaint is, on Folder, for example, we spawn in an open field. On this map, on that map, we spawn in an open field. On Middle East, you spawn on a nice flat open road that people can see from weird spots, right? But American Desert, that northern spawn, you have a decent spawn, loads of cover, loads of rocks that you can weave through and pop out different places, but a massive spawn dome that stops play on a quarter of the map.
Well, yeah,
that's very silly.
That's the thing where like, it's another idea that I have for balancing shit, but We talked about this in the past where I think that the spawn points shouldn't be shown to the enemy team. I don't think there should be a dome
I don't
around
think so.
them. And I don't think after the initial spawn, I think you should come into the battlefield from outside of it on the initial
Yeah.
spawn. Because, like,
Yeah,
if
people
you're
sound
pushed to the
engaged.
border of the absolute map, yeah, it's going to take you longer to come back in. But the team that's attacking you, you're not going to get spawn camped as heavy. Like, it won't
Yeah.
seem the same. If you're coming off the map, you know what I mean? It'll
Yeah.
neutralize both those. You can't go out of the map to spawn camp somebody because it'll kill you. And if you get a protection to come into the map, you know what I mean? You'll still be protected.
Yeah, like I think it's like we mentioned earlier. Like I think one thing they could definitely add to it wouldn't stop it by any means because you can never stop spawn camping in a game like this.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
just removing the little arrows that show exactly where the enemy spawns in would be
But
such a benefit.
that
And like,
then provides a benefit to people who've played the game since before that patch because then
I
they'll
bet-
know exactly where you
mm,
spawn.
Well, if
there
they
was a
take them
second
out
part
and
to that
change it up,
sentence,
yeah.
but okay. Like the concept that we kind of had for it was having like sweeping arrows that would come in from like a corner that would show the direction
Yeah.
where the
We talked
enemies
about
come
this,
from
yeah.
when they
Mhm.
spawn in. I think that's miles better than just having the because sure it's going to show well people who've played loads are going to know where the spawns are,
But they're
but
going to
that
know anyway.
yeah, and that in tandem with the spawn radar zone I think would make it like not a massive incentive because the sorts of people that like spawn camping are the kind of like muck AD thunder skill people, so they're not really going to want to put themselves on the radar for anyone to take a shot at. So like as long as
But
they put like the thing with stopping spawn camping I think is you can never no, repeating myself, you can't remove it outright. The most you can do is provide enough like deterrence to doing it to stop most types of people from going right. And I think removing the spawn flags and showing everyone where people who are going to spawn camp, like showing that location, is probably the best kind of solution they can make for it.
it's spawn camp is a discussion, but like on maps, like don't you guys think like American Desert's pretty good, well designed,
It's
but
a
on spawn
decent
camp
map.
very
Yeah,
bad.
like I don't mind
Compared to
it.
Vietnam, like Vietnam sucks. Like American Desert's actually pretty decent. Like it's pretty well balanced. Like
American Desert, the town is good, but I feel like there's wasted potential and it's a bit too compressed.
It is compressed,
And
but I think part of that's
it's got the
because of
same it's got the
spawn
same
dome.
sort of symmetrical gameplay over an asymmetrical area and the same old perpendicular caps problem. They may be on a slant,
Yeah,
but
for
they're
sure.
still perpendicular.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make for good gameplay. Eastern Europe, what they call it now, European province or whatever.
Mhm.
The one with the massive river in the middle of it. That you push people off the bridges of all this. That is one of the best maps in the game, in my
Yeah, by
opinion.
far, yeah.
Like the sequential cap through
It's
the
good on
town.
Blitz. It's good on Conquest. It's good on Battle. It's good on every game mode. It's just well designed.
Mention
Again,
Blitz.
look at the
Break.
last
Miss Break.
yeah,
Give me
yeah.
break.
But look at the last like map Skygen's release. Like the only miss has really been Vietnam. Like they've done a decent job like releasing maps. Like
Dude,
Fold is
people
great.
hate
I
Folder.
love Fold.
People
Yeah,
hate Magino.
yeah, but those are good maps.
But it's
so at
because
least
of
there's some.
how it's played. Like it doesn't
Yeah, I think
make sense.
one thing I'd like to kind of mention there is that whenever a new map comes in, I mean, I haven't liked it, and I think probably a good chunk of that is just not knowing how it plays, and other people not knowing how it plays. Because like the old maps, I think there's no old map that I dislike, and I think that's because I've played on them so much. I know the
I hate
best spots, so I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
have a good
Skip.
game. So you see, I quite like jungle because there's a few spots that I go to in there, and I do quite consistently well with.
I haven't seen Jungle in so
So
long.
I've hated jungle since beta. That's just
I think
that map.
Maginot, I mean, granted, when it came out, it was very bad, and it's been optimized and improved now. But I really didn't like anything about it when it came out. But after playing it a fair bit, I know where to go, I know how it works, and like to a reasonable degree enough to actually consistently do well on it. So when Vietnam came out, I mean, I don't think it's intrinsically a good map anyway, but I think a fair portion of that is because I don't know how it plays.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I don't really
Maginot.
think so. Like, don't you think like the flow of the gameplay is important on a map? Like, and you look at any FPS or any like shooter, whatever. Like the flow of how the game, like the flow of the gameplay, is really important. And Maginot flows pretty well. Like it's slow, but it flows. Like Vietnam is so just, especially in Sim, man. It's so haggard. Like you just don't know what's happening. Like one side has a huge advantage, the other side just sets up the camp, and
Sounds
it's just
like a
it's not
Vietnam
fun.
War.
Yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
going to the bathroom real quick, by the way. I have to real quick.
Oh, I think when Maginot first came out, I was of the philosophy. I looked at the map, like I looked at the mini map, and I went, "That eastern ridge is the defining feature of this map. I will take that ridge. I will win the game. And if you manage to get on that ridge and push to the enemy side, you win." Because you can control from that ridge. You can control pretty much 50% of the map.
Two caps.
The only
Yeah.
thing you can't control is the town. Don't worry about the town. Ignore the town. Ignore the sea cap. It's fine. Get the other two. Win the game. And that is still, when it works, obviously, still the best way to really crowbar the best you can out of that map.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably most efficient. Yeah.
I think I genuinely like. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think they are trying to design maps so that they're hard to kind of stay alive in the whole game.
It's
You need
an
to keep moving up, and
interesting
there's
train of thought.
I haven't
it's
thought
like
about that.
the
Like
more
that could be
the
true.
more
Though.
I've played on the newer maps, it's like there's no proper sniping spots. There's no like corners to hide in all the time. You need to keep moving around, and there's nowhere that's necessarily safe, I guess.
What about Italy? Like,
And
Italy's pretty safe, right?
see, like
Fuck, no.
it's like a grid of channels and sight lines. Like you can sit somewhere, but there's there's a line you're not.
Italy is push into the town and then go north and south and have one of your flanks exposed all the
Yeah,
like
that's what it is. Yeah.
you are always that map because of the way the caps are. You're always doing this, but everyone that's coming in is going that way or this way. So like you're always putting one of your flanks in danger. You can't. You know,
Like-
your tank doesn't move like a crab. You can't face the enemy direction while going sideways and push towards another cap zone. You have to move with one of your
Yeah.
flanks exposed the entire time.
I kind of
One
like the
thing I've
fact that like, it
noticed as
forces you to like
well,
move towards the team, like towards other caps. But go Alex.
all of the older maps, most of them, like not every single one, but pretty much all of them are enclosed. So there's like I don't know, like a cliff or a ridge covering all corners of the map. But in pretty much all newer maps, apart from the really big ones, the outer kind of ring, like the very exterior, is open. So it allows for a lot more flanking. Whereas a lot of the earlier maps, like Ash River, whatever, you can't really do that. There are spots like in the interior of the map that people sit in and snipe and whatever. And I think that inherently kind of is a detriment to survivability because it allows a lot more flanking, like Fulda, American Desert, Italy. I guess as a stretch Vietnam because it's so big, like people can
Like-
get around anywhere. But
I see that, like-
with the earlier maps, there's like the kind of the way players spread through the map is quite predictable. I guess they're all going to come through the middle or in any of the interior channels. Well, the exterior is pretty much either for rear sniping or well, just rear sniping. There's no way to kind of move through the extremes. I think that kind of hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'm trying to
To
get
me,
that.
that's an evolution of like Gajin's like map design. Like
Hmm.
early on, right?
Oh,
Like
it
the
is for sure.
Curse did it. Curse did it like right away. Like if you played Sim, like you played Curse, and that was like an open map. I think that was just like a limitation of like Gajin's early, maybe.
Sure. Best way to flank in that map, right? Best way, hands down, to flank in that map is not to flank.
What map?
Kursk.
Kursk.
Like,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
imagine the
But again,
Kursk
it's
is
not-
kind
it's
of
not
like
about-
this shape, isn't it? The ridge line is kind of like that shape, right? If you just drive from where you come up to your ridge, if you just drive over that dip where you've got the sea trees, right? And then you've got the ridge line at the top with B. If you just drive through that gap, no one looks there. You can just drive straight
Yeah,
through.
true. Yeah.
You get to the enemy
It's
ridge.
just, like,
Nobody
undulations
looks
there, yeah.
at that little gap. You just straight through every time.
But those undulations and hills and weren't there like in the initial like launch, obviously. But again, like I think that was just like a limitation on Gaijin, and that's how they designed. Like you look at all the arcade like air maps, like they all have like a cliff side or like a
Yeah.
They kind of like
I think
they like close you in. I think that was just their early.
I agree.
arcade tank
Like,
maps. Like
it's-
that's why they were designed that way. I don't think
It's
it was like
definitely a progression from what they've initially started, but I guess the point is it more fun to play on a map like that?
See, I like
To
small
me,
maps.
yes.
I like the small maps. But that's
It's
personal
desperate to see what
preference,
it's
and I
like, but
understand some people like other maps. I just don't like getting folded 3 times in a row. I don't like getting Maginot 3 times in a row. I'll play it once, but if I have to play it like 4 times, I despise large Poland though. I think that's a map that shouldn't be large. They should just
I
keep it
think
normal
large
size.
Poland has a lot of imbalance in the way that it is. It's the same
Because,
sort of
yeah.
symmetrical to asymmetrical thing. I mean, look, if you're
I think you guys are
pushing
also
to
thinking about like
either
a
of the
medium
caps on the
Poland
north and the
versus large.
south, right? They are imbalanced, but they're not imbalanced equally. It's
No.
much easier, much easier for whoever spawns on the eastern side to push through the southern cap and then camp the life out of the spawn.
Yeah.
Like it's so much easier. You can't do that on the other side. If you're pushing to A, right, you can't camp the spawn. If you're on the side that has A and you know what I mean, the western side, if you spawn west and then push across,
Yeah.
you can't see the spawn because it's got a ridge and trees that puts you in the radar zone. Like
See,
you
problem is like
equally though on the other side of A, you can't do that. But like
Yeah.
to me, like
it's
large
just
Poland, the large Poland I'm thinking about, right? Like the cap is behind the windmills on the northern spawn.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
A. The
past the
C
forest
is
in
the
the south.
largest cap
And
circle in the
no
game.
there's
yeah,
no
the
A, B,
town
or C. There's
that
no A,
town
B, or
cap
C.
is
It
terrible as well.
was only battle, so like you only had 2 caps.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
the same
was
map.
yeah,
It's the
but like
same map.
you had to play it way differently.
Well, because they only
And
give
now
you
the
one
spawns are-
cap on battle, or one spawn on battle.
There was no reason to push to other caps. So there was no imbalance with the caps. But again, like to me, like you look at old Mozdok, which is the large Mozdok. You look at old Eastern Europe. You look at old Poland. Like those are pretty well balanced just around battle. Like you couldn't run them with triple caps or a conquest or anything like that. Like you just couldn't do it. But again, like
Like here's an example that's on the screen right now, so chat can see. So this is Eastern Europe battle, right? And you see
it's
how
small Eastern Europe.
no, it's large, but there's battle. So there's the cap is by a windmill for B, and the other one is down by the town. What I don't understand is looking at this map while you're designing it, I can see how off the caps are. Like they're not symmetrical. Why isn't B down in the town as well, so both caps are on equal terms, and capping them you can sneakily cap them, so it becomes a problem. Whereas if you spawn on the A side on the map, like not on my team from the example being shown, if you spawn on the other side, capping B is a pain in the ass because you're up top. It does, like you don't have buildings to hide. You have one building in the cap. While as A is down by the river and you can cap that from multiple buildings.
See again, this is like a newer, smaller version of this map. Like in old Eastern Europe and the old larger.
Well, they still have it. It's side to side with 3 caps.
Yeah, but no, they don't. Like
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
No, the spawns were pushed further back. Like
Yeah, they have that.
especially in
Krog.
They don't. I'm telling you, I played the quote unquote large version. It was smaller than what it used to be. I'm telling you right now, like the caps used to be on both bridges, and the spawns were further behind that. Like the spawns were kind of.
Yeah, that's still in the game.
Yeah, you can
No,
still get it.
no,
You
it's
can
still in the game,
yeah,
Krog.
No, you could still get it. That's what I'm telling you. I know what map you're talking about. You can still get it. It's just rare. You get those you get those more often.
It's only
I
really a
think-
sim rotation, as far as I know.
From a milsim point of view, from a military point of view, none of these maps and their objectives make sense strategically, which is something obviously. Do you bring strategy into what you're trying to be? You're trying to build
So-
like competitive, equal games. Strategy doesn't really play into it then,
No.
but none of them make sense. Where the objectives are don't make sense.
They
Well,
make no
You're gonna
sense.
make them balanced. Make them balanced. Make them make sense though.
My biggest
Like,
thing
don't
is
put
the
Don't put cap circle in a middle in a high point on an open field or whatever.
you get what I mean when I'm saying that, right? On the Eastern Europe, like how that's imbalanced. Like you can cap A in cover from their
I didn't
spawn
think-
and your spawn.
Yeah.
You can't cap B in cover from their spawn or your spawn. Like somebody
There's
could.
that,
cap.
yeah.
What's the point of this game? It's to grind, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so
Like, you
I
have a
don't know.
balance
It's to
with
play
the
it.
game.
It's got nothing to grind.
No.
now this is perfect. Here's another example, but you'll see it from above. This is Italy, right? Why are the maps and like I could see Italy being one of the best maps in War Thunder, but what they do is they make it sideways. If it was turned
Yeah.
I would
180
love
degrees
that, yeah.
and the caps were in the same spot, but the spawns, right? So you spawned either down south by the
North or
ocean.
south.
Yeah. You could have 2 sniping lanes on both sides of the city or the city fighting in the middle. which would be so sick. You can have a guaranteed cap, they can have a guaranteed cap, and you fight for B in the middle, and you fight for
This
sniping
is
lanes.
what makes the Eastern European 3 cap so good.
Exactly.
Because you have a guaranteed cap, I have a guaranteed cap. Let's fight over B.
Exactly. And there's a
And there's
flank,
none,
and
there's none of this.
flanking.
There's none of this like ACB stuff.
Yeah.
Put them in order.
Yeah. Exactly.
That bothers me. That bothers me greatly. And it's like CAB. It's like why are they that way? Why not just do them top to bottom or side to side, whatever it is, but have them be A, B, C. Because then it just makes more sense to the brain.
They fix it in
Like-
Poland. They'll fix it in every map. But
No, it's ACB on Poland.
Yeah, the large.
Or
it's ABC,
on
they
the
fix
on the
it.
large one, and then on the small one, it's ABC.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense though. Like that map, for example, doesn't make sense to me. Like the 3 cap is all right. I don't mind that map that bad, but what I do mind is the fact that you cannot capture C. Like it's if somebody wants to hide in C, they can hide in there for the entirety of a game. You can't find them. It's
takes a
too large of a circle to like sweep out unless you have a 4-man squad in C.
Well, we had that
Yeah,
that
that's,
one battle on stream, didn't we? Where it took like it was a neutral game, and the time ran
Yeah,
because there was so many people feeding into C from their team and just sitting in there, and
Yeah.
it was like the tickets were super low on both teams because we've been killing each other that much. But like the tickets were so low, nobody was even going to the other cap points. It was just this constant churn on C.
through
It's
the
just- I don't
Poland cap
understand it.
in the town. It's a legacy cap from the team deathmatch event, and the only reason the cap's so big was to keep people in the town. This was initially the
like a
map was
duel.
only it was like to entice people to just stay in the town to fight each other, and it's the exact same identical cap from that event,
Yeah.
and they've just copy and pasted it for
that's why it still says
some
C.
reason. Yeah, it's silly. I don't know why they've done that.
Yeah, but that's see like little things like that. Those improve quality of life. They're not really hard, and like I obviously don't code. I don't know how to do this. I'm not a map developer. I love the game a lot, and I just wish that they put a little bit of time and effort into little things like that, turning Italy sideways, doing small things, and they would increase how the game plays so much
I
drastically.
mean, you can even with turning Italy sideways, you can even put a spawn just on either side of the town. So then you have a choice. You know, the spawn get like maybe adjust it slightly so there's more cover. Because at the moment, obviously, you would be able to push around the sides and kind of shoot down into it. But you know, a little bit of rebalance in there, a little bit of reshaping.
Now,
Just put a cap on either side of the town and have it attack north to south.
yeah, exactly.
Easy peasy.
It would be easy peasy. But
And then your solution, oh, we're being spawn camped, push into the town.
yeah, exactly.
Like they're not going to be able to
Loads of
lock you down
cover,
in the
yeah.
town, so push into the town and unflank them.
But the
Simple.
map,
Safe from
the
aircraft,
map
everything,
simply looks like it should be played that way too. Like, have you ever like going to B? Does it look
That's
like
what
you
you
should
end up
fight?
doing every game.
Yeah, should you fight
Yeah, just
across
playing
the?
3 caps
But
that
could
way.
you imagine like B cap? Right, there's 2 main roads, and then there's the rest of the town on either side. Fighting down those main roads and having to go down into the courtyard itself would be really, really fun. I think it would be like a great map design. I think it all flows up and down instead of like left and right, which it does right now. But I mean, not to drag on the map talking too much, I have an idea. Something just came to me. I think would be a cool way for Gaijin to kind of like add more players to the game and kind of get people playing where they want to be playing is if they did 3 separate types of videos for each game mode, right? Gaijin themselves, tutorial-esque videos. And they actually sold the point that SB makes the most RP, AB makes the easiest, you know what I mean, fastest games. RB is like a good medium. If they did that and then like I think they could populate Sim. Because I mean, I've noticed how unpopulated Sim has been recently. And I don't think that
too full
I
games,
think
isn't
Sim is like the best part of War Thunder. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I think it's the most fun I have in War Thunder is Sim. Like the maps are usually better, even if you get a larger map or something different. You can play it different because you're playing from the realistic view. You know what I mean? It's just way different. Of course, spawn camping's a little worse when you run into a squad, but I think like the RP gain, it's a no-brainer. Why I think new people should be hopping in Sim and getting like learning Sim and getting used to that because you gain a lot. Like you grinded the Saddam, right, Oxy in Sim?
Yeah.
Yeah, just flew it out, and you just played AA, and like you can do that in sim. You could just be a pilot. You can bring a pilot. You could be an awesome pilot straight off the bat if that's what you like to do, and you can bomb things. Of course, it's really strict learning curve, but it's not as bad as DCS. You're not learning how to
It's
fly
not
a
even,
plane in
not even
DCS.
close. Yeah.
Not even close. So like I mean,
You're not really having to monitor gauges either because it's
Yeah.
still up in the left.
yeah, it looks crazy. But to somebody who like doesn't play sim, flying a plane in sim seems like really, really hard. But like a week of doing it, you start to feel it. You'll
It's
understand.
literally
It.
it's literally like RB, AB, whatever. Just be gentle in the controls. Like that's all it is.
So if they did something where they were like, even if it was Sean, I don't know who they have. Sean usually does that stuff. He was like, guys, today we're going to be talking about sim, and be like, this is the fastest way to earn RP in War Thunder. You know what I mean? Like, or the
Is it though? Like
yeah.
per hour, what's the best?
Per hour, I don't know, but I would say
If
you
you've-
definitely earn larger amounts per game in sim.
I think you could probably make the argument that because you're engaged in more fights more often in arcade, if you cannot consistently kill people in sim, arcade or RB might be better.
Exactly, and
Well,
if they made a
that's what
video
like,
saying
like
that.
they nerfed it, like right, like they nerfed the AB like gain, so like it might like
You
I'd
can
say
ask. You can ask Kurt or whoever else we were playing with, but in I think about 9 hours, I grinded about 540,000 RP in sim. I
That's pretty
probably couldn't have done that enough.
No,
I
that's
unlocked
No.
the automatic and the OF40 Mark II in like an afternoon, just playing sim in a talisman tank. And I think if you're constantly winning and constantly doing like average to good, you will probably earn more.
you
Yeah.
do earn a lot in sim. I mean, from
Can
a
I-
good game, it'll be like 15K, which is nice
Can
to
I
see. Yeah.
Can I rewind very quickly to a
Mhm.
point about Italy?
Yes.
There's a giant castle that is completely unplayable.
In the south, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there is a
don't say that.
big, massive block of the
Never
city that is completely off limits. You just have to drive around it.
Yeah. Why?
It's never.
Kath, you're gonna White Rock
Cool.
us real
Looks
quick.
looks vaguely aesthetic.
White Rock was a
cool.
great map until people.
No,
bought
no,
it.
I'm not necessarily
Jesus.
saying bring the castle down so we can play it. I'm saying why is it there? Why have I got to drive around?
Yeah.
Why is that not a playable part of the map? Put a garden there. That's fine.
Yeah. Put a big garden.
You know? But you've got plenty of gardens in the map already. B has got gardens on either side of it. There's,
Put another garden.
just don't make a big unplayable square that you may as well just like sharpie out of the map because it's got nothing to do with tank.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Anyway,
No, I feel you.
on quality of life. Not necessarily quality of life, but something a bit different.
Is this-
Smoke and smoke artillery.
Before we talk about that real quick, Croc, take a look at this Eastern Europe. This is the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
Caps at each bridge. Oh, it's gone now.
Nope. No. You
Croc's
missed
like,
one way back.
Croc's
into the
like back
forest.
in 1952, my Eastern Europe had 42 caps.
There's a 2-cap variant that's on
Dude.
the bridges at the moment, which is what he's talking about, and that's,
It had-
that's the same cap.
My caps were made in Eastern Province, done 4,000 years ago.
Stalin crafted my
Smoke.
caps. you
All
know.
right, so smoke shells and smoke artillery.
Smoke, not necessarily smoke shells, but like smoke as it is, and how much more powerful it is than real life, and is it too powerful?
I don't think
What,
smoke's
IR
too-
scope's kinda counter
Does
smoke in
smoke
real life,
change the game too much?
No, I don't think so. I think that smoke has been decent. All it really does for me is like if I have somebody in my sights, I just laugh because they ink and then I shoot them through the smoke. You know what I mean? Like
But I mean,
there's not
It
many
is
times
so
where
much
smoke
more.
saves them.
it is like orders of magnitude more powerful than reality. If you actually look at like tanks dropping their smoke grenades, it's just like it's not this massive 30-meter high bubble of smoke that goes 150, 200 meters either side of the tank.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that also
true.
because IR scopes are a thing in real life, or they're not in Gaijin or
What?
Gaijin's world? IR scopes or whatever, can't they see through?
Yeah, they
smoke
could
and
definitely
all that?
see through smoke, but
It depends if the smoke is IR smoke. You can have smoke that scatters IR signals,
because it's got little flakes in it, little flaky flakes,
kind of like chaff, but for
little reflecty
Yeah.
flaky flakes.
electromagnetic radio. Oh no, chaff is still ER. Never mind, I mean them.
But
Is the
yeah,
current smoke in the game like that, or is it?
maybe the Abrams smoke.
Not on everything.
I don't know
It's
though,
a-
but I don't think smoke is like. I don't have a problem with how large it is. I mean, yeah, it might be
ESS
unrealistic.
and how long it lasts.
Yeah, no, see, like if I see that, I'm like, oh, there's an Abrams inking, and then I shoot him. Like that's
Yeah, but they're so big, so big, 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 big. Basically, what Anastasius, who is a subscriber of both you and was an artillery boy, and was discussing like smoke artillery.
that's I
Mentioned flares as well. Mentioned flares as well, but that's dynamic lighting, and Gaijin's not going to touch that with a barge.
I think
Smoke artillery.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
You think?
Yeah.
Because at the minute you can kind of use smoke to mask your movement, artillery to mask your movements. You kind of can. If you're moving as the artillery strike is coming down, there's that much dust being kicked up that you can just sort of, skirt around.
That's true.
I think it would work from
Only
like,
for
a strategic
scouts or
standpoint.
something.
Yeah, like only of particular type. Because the thing is, like, if everyone had access to it, you could grief like crazy with
That's
smoke
true.
artillery.
What if
maybe just light tanks.
I
Yeah,
think on
what
that
if it was
basis,
just
light
tanks,
Gaijin
light
would
scouts
be
or something?
apprehensive for it. But yeah, if only like I'd say if a scout tank, only for a scout tank, but only if they had the opportunity to take artillery or smoke. I think
You could grief
really
with old
limit it.
artillery.
Mhm.
Like I don't think that you can
Yeah,
really
so friendly
say.
fire with
I mean, you could grief with shooting people's tracks off, and they didn't remove that because of that. They removed that because people were team killing each other and Russian and Ukrainian flags during the whole Crimean thing. That's why they removed team killing in tank.
Croc's
So-
so old he
Yeah.
remembered the D point.
Like that's not the reason that they removed team killing, or do they? Yeah, that they turned team damage off in RB was because of people griefing with stuff. It was because of those particular.
Oh.
So I don't think that they would be averse to introducing smoke artillery.
I think
For
that
yeah,
reason.
I think it would be dope if it was only available for like scouts and it was another mod that they had to update or grind out. But something just hit my head. All right, something that's quality of life that affects me pretty much every day in War Thunder. When can we get rid of this fucking crew lock? When can we
Yes.
get rid
Thank-
of the
yeah.
crew lock? When can we fix this? Can this happen tomorrow? Please, today maybe, before I get the
Crew lock-
fuck on and die and have to not spawn things.
Kind of serves a purpose though.
No.
No, it doesn't. No.
So listen. It serves a purpose,
Well,
kind of. So this is how crew lock will work, right? Let's say you spawn in a tank, and you go and you do your damage, and you don't have enough to spawn another vehicle that you want to use. You're forced to either make the decision, I'm going to spawn the vehicle I don't want to use, I'm going to J out, and that is going to be crew locked. Or you could not spawn that vehicle in and get your entire lineup, aside from the tank you just played, crew locked, which does not make any fucking sense.
The game's already lost, and that's forcing.
How about if you rip on accident?
if the game
8
is already
minutes.
lost in under 10 minutes, Croc, something has gone very wrong.
Well, no, but
Not gonna lie, it's only
Yeah.
in the first 10 minutes of the game that you're gonna get crew locked up to the time of 10 minutes.
But there's plenty of games where it will make you wait for 5 minutes to get your slots back because you don't want to spawn in an AA. That doesn't.
because you left 5 minutes in.
Well, yeah. Let's say there's plenty of situations. You're telling me you've never gone into a game, Kath, and you've died, and then you're like, hey, I don't really want to spawn this AA. My team's getting
Yeah,
destroyed.
but I know I'm gonna be crew locked, and I know why it happened.
Okay,
be
then
fair,
why
they
should you
have-
have to feel like that?
To be fair, they've changed it now to the point where you can basically spawn any functional vehicle after you die once. Like a medium tank, you can spawn 2 easily.
Yeah, that's true.
So they have changed that, but yeah, I'm gonna take a step back.
Well, and how about this one? You're flying your Saber, and they changed the values of your elevators, and now you rip, right?
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, and now you have to wait 8 minutes to play again.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, I'm not
Congrats!
so sure.
I hope you're
I'm not so
excited that we
sure about
changed the
crew
elevators.
locking from
You know what I mean?
ARB. Like ARB, I can understand that crew lock could be much more of an irritating thing, but then ARB doesn't lock your entire lineup; it just locks one plane, and you get crew lock. And obviously, you're not going to play other stuff. Like if you're looking to play that one particular vehicle, but it's not as bad as in Tank RB when it will lock everything.
No,
But
that's true.
You're,
but
you're leaving before 10 minutes have happened, so you haven't participated in the battle, and you've kind of you didn't want to spawn, right? But you were put on that team in that battle. You've left when you could have spawned in, and kind of
here's devil's advocate for you.
detriment of your team.
Devil's
I'm playing devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
I know,
now.
but
I don't really care. I wouldn't mind it getting removed.
Of course. But here's the actual, like, how it actually affects me. Because obviously that makes sense. I have a lot of vehicles in the game. But when I'm grinding Italy, I'm using the M60, the Saddam, and a G91. If I take my M60 out and get 3 kills but no cap, I don't have enough to spawn my plane. So instead of not spawning my plane, I have to play the Saddam, which is stock in RB, in a match that probably won't use it. So you're telling me that my 3 kills aren't helping the team? I still did my tank plus 2. I should not have to deal with crew lock if I want to leave that match. I did my job. I did what I had to do. I'm not able to spawn my M60 again. And I know you can get a backup, and that would be the remedy to that, but I shouldn't have to get backups to not get crew locked or not get punished. And I don't want to just constantly die in the Saddam when I only have HE rounds. And that's like a completely understandable. That could happen at any tier with any player who's grinding any nation. Like they could have one tank that they're using that's a premium, an AA that they're just grinding up, and a plane. And like you can't use that lineup without like getting a cap and killing 2 people to spawn in the plane.
There are a lot of very simple answers that the devs could give to this that will kind of just blunt the argument, like just grind another name. You know, like obviously that's not very helpful, but
they could say that.
I would like to see a video, right, like a shooting range video explaining crew lock.
Yeah,
that's what I would really like to see, because if they have like the true, because we can all come up with reasons why it exists, and we can all say, kind of does this, kind of does that, kind of stops you spamming games. If you don't like a particular map, you can just jump out and go to another. Kind of stops you doing that. But an actual official video saying, this is why crew lock is the way it is. We know it upsets you, but this is why it exists. And, you know, maybe some technical explanation like, oh, it's this load on the servers, or this reason, that reason to stop this exploit. Having that
wouldn't
from
be too bad.
Gaijin would be good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, I don't mind. I just go play another nation, but that's, you know, that's me making a conscious choice. I know I'm going to get crew locked when I leave this game. I don't want to stay in it. I'm just going to play something else for a game. But that's, and not
everybody can do that, you know. Not everybody has everything to go do that.
No, exactly. Which is why I'm not saying this from a position of like absolute. I'm just arguing the point for the sake of the differing opinion.
But like realistically, has anyone had a better time in War Thunder since they introduced crew lock?
No. I don't think it helps that much. And there are still people, by the way, a couple years ago, and there's still a way to beat crew lock, all right? And you bring 2 reserve tanks in every lineup, and you put them on the end of your lineup, and if you get a map you don't like, you J out in both reserve tanks. And all the stats for dying go to the reserves, and you don't have to play your main lineup. So if there's a way to work around it that way anyway, you're still down a player, and it completely prevents what they're trying to prevent. Like they don't want people leaving the game and not playing. So it only hurts people who stay in the game and actually try to play, and the people who don't care about it just override the rule. They figure out a way to get past it, and they get past it. So it's like, if it's not helping that, and it's hurting people who are actually playing, why is it even there?
Yeah, it's like there's a kind of fine line between it, I guess, because it's there for the benefit of, I guess, a team, because you don't want to spawn in, drive out, get shot, and leave immediately. That's a spot that a player could have chosen to stick around and spawn again and again and whatever, and help the team. But then you've also got to cater to the individual who's like, I've died, I've lost my main vehicle, I don't want to spawn a backup on this map, I don't think we're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you kind of draw the line there between, it's there because you don't want people leaving straight away because they don't like the map, whatever, and you don't want people leaving because it inhibits the team's overall capability of all the spawns they actually have altogether? Like, it's hard to really kind of get a kind of middle ground like that. Like, initially when crew lock first came out, this obviously isn't confirmed by anyone, but they were planning on having it as another GE sync. For the first, when it first came out, you could pay Golden Eagles to remove your crew lock, and you could go back in right away. But that was taken out. I think it might have even been on the dev server. It was gone in one iteration or one day. And that's when they first introduced it. And apparently it was tied to that inherently, but stuck around because of not wanting people to leave. Yeah. So it's just, how do you kind of find the middle there between the team and the player?
At the risk of making an unpopular statement, if you're getting crew locked after every match, maybe you're doing something.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's every single time for you, stop leaving before 10 minutes is up.
Yeah, but that's
the thing with that is, if that's
It shouldn't
constantly
be
a
happening.
problem, yeah, if that's constant. But the thing is, some people, you know, it's not universal. Some people are going to play differently, and some people are going to, if they have I don't know what a good example would be, but it's like not not every player is kind of leaving for the reason that they're blocking people for, I guess.
No, they're
Yeah,
Yeah,
like for me,
yeah,
like
that's the thing. Is that it is like a sledgehammer for a
Blanket.
nail. It's like
Yeah,
you're leaving
yeah,
before
exactly.
10 minutes is up. Whack, crew lock.
yeah. Well,
Kev, let's say
that's
this like 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Like, it
Like, I
doesn't.
was playing with you in Virus. I had to leave a couple games where you guys died very early because you're out of the game. But I was crew locked, not because I wanted to, not contribute, but because you guys wanted to play a new game. Like, maybe remove it at least when you're in a squad, just because like you're not only wasting your own time, playing an AA. That's not going to do anything in the larger picture, but
I don't understand why
you're
these
kind of
videos
holding
won't
back
load.
other players.
It's fucking stupid.
I don't know. Be crew lock just doesn't add anything. Like, I get why Gaijin did it, but the individual should always be probably the most valued, I guess, entity in this. Like, yeah, the team, they should probably matter maybe, but again, the team is not gonna like keep buying new tanks. They're not gonna keep playing the game. Like, the individual experience and his quality of life or their quality of life should be the most important aspect. And
I just think it
Oh,
should be a message. If you
uh,
leave a game right off the bat, you get a message that says, "Hey, dickhead, you want to keep leaving matches? We're gonna time you out for 30 minutes." And then you do it again. "Hey, dickhead, you got one more chance. Don't leave another match like this."
well,
I'm gonna.
CS:GO does that, right? With competitive, like if you leave,
as
like they time you out.
a kind of countermeasure to people leaving right away, if people leave quick enough, I don't know exactly what the threshold is. It seems to depend. They get replaced by someone jipping.
Hmm.
So that initial point of it's a detriment to the team is in some cases nullified by that. People get replaced.
Is it up to 30 seconds or something like that?
I think
up to 45.
it seems to depend. It's never been super
I've had
consistent.
like
I've
4-minute
seen people.
late video or games where like people join in.
I've seen people replace like the instant bot replacement within like a few minutes. So it's never consistent. But it's like I think ultimately the best way to just stop it is if a player's been in in a match for a certain amount of time, like I don't know, 3 minutes or whatever, and they die, maybe even 2 minutes and they die, don't crew lock them. I mean, some people, which Gaijin have allowed players to do, you can buy a premium and that's your only vehicle. You've got a premium 2 reserves. You take out your tier 4 Tiger 2 and you've got your Panzer 3018 and your Panzer 3B left. Do you want to take those out? Probably not. I'm going to leave. Not a good example in hindsight because they don't get crew locked as far as I know, but you might have really low tier vehicles that are going to get crew locked. So it's like, what, like the benefit,
It's a
like
difficult one.
what they're doing it for, like most of the time it doesn't work. I think the best way is just to make it a limited time thing. So you die within a certain, you need to die a certain time.
Certain.
You get taken out within a certain time bracket, and you don't get crew locked. I think that's probably what the best way to go about it is.
See, certainly this is a problem. And is there any other? I'm sorry. What... Are there any like other small like life issues in War Thunder that you guys would change? Like, to me, like maps are the biggest thing. Like if I get the map multiple times around, like I don't want to play.
You don't
Like
really
this...
play enough to see many maps though. To be fair,
I played 6 hours last night, dude. I got like the same map. I think I only played 3 maps in 6 hours. No, I'm serious.
From a kind of dev point of view,
You can look at my my playtime. 6 hours last night, same map, probably.
from a kind of developer, but from that perspective, one look at it as stop leaving the maps, learn to play them. Like that. If it's that reason, like, oh, I got the map I don't want, I'm going to leave. Then from a developer's point, I'm not necessarily saying that this is the opinion of anyone at Gaijin.
No.
But from the point of a developer, it's like, well, these are the maps that are in the game. Like, if you don't like it, talk about them, but play them. So that kind of factors into it, I guess.
What I would say to the hypothetical dev saying that, I would say play with me, do better than me, and try not to get crew locked, and we'll play the same lineups, and you would be able to, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if we have issues with crew lock, and we play the game a ton, and obviously we want to play. Like, there's no reason for me to
But
want.
I only get crew locked if I willingly choose to.
I
The
get-
only time I will experience a crew lock is when I go right and I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna play something
Crew
else.
lock is
I-
for me a part of the other quality of life things that aren't fixed that piss me off, and I'm not willing to play this NAA on Folda or Maginot.
I just don't have AAs in my lineup ever.
Well, what am I gonna do? Not bring an AA? You know?
Yeah, I don't have any. I think it's just
You
shoot
want me
down
to
planes and planes.
just
isn't
bring
it?
a tank with a and then a plane, and like, is that a way? Maybe I want to grind the Saddam. I shouldn't be penalized for
So, mhm.
not
I don't
wanting
know,
to
I think-
HE a bunch of tanks that are pushing my spawn or not spawning.
I just want to use AA so rarely, and I would rather shoot down planes with. I would rather do like cap. I would rather do close air patrol in a fighter with clean wings, than sit there in an AA.
Well, that's you.
Oh, yeah, Orange hates me for it. Orange dislikes that I don't bring AA, but it's like I'd rather shoot down planes with planes. That's just the way that I play,
Yeah,
which
that's-
maybe factors into
which
why I
is-
don't experience
yeah,
crew lock unless
That's
I want
great.
to
Yeah,
experience.
you have found the secret, because I'll tell you what, if you put an AA in your lineup, you'll be getting a lot more
BMPs
crew
are pretty
lock.
cheap.
Gotta play it.
BMPs are pretty cheap.
See, that's different, but that's a One Nation specific thing. The thing I'm specifically
Every
thinking
nation has
about
light tanks.
recently, yes, of course, is when you are grinding. Not everybody has everything in the game, right? So when you're grinding a nation, this could easily happen for anybody. You're a new player.
I know.
Here, you're a new player. You spent some money. You bought the Object 120, right? Okay.
Rhyming again.
Yeah, you got the 120. You grind it up to have the ZSU 37 so far after playing a lot of solo 120 matches. And you say, hey, I see a lot of planes that are shooting me down. I'd like to get them back in my 120. Or for after I die in my 120. So you use the ZSU 37. And you also have an SU 6 for whatever reason. You've been playing planes for a while. You die in your 120. All you can spawn in is your AA. And that's a decent AA, to be honest. Like, that's a different example because the Saddam is way different. It only gets HE when it's stock. But let's just say you're a stock ZSU 37. That's the highest you have in your tech tree aside from your 120. You either have the choice of spawning the ZSU 37, and it could be on a map like Corellia, right? Or it could be on a map like Fulda. Do you want to drive a ZSU 37 across Fulda, or do you want to get spawn camped on Corellia? Those are your two options in this hypothetical situation. Or you could get crew locked for the amount of time that you have to wait for that battle to be over, or the 10-minute remainder. Does that seem fun for somebody who spent money to get the 120?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, the whole thing I've just been arguing from a point of the opposite view to just remove crew lock. It doesn't really bother me. I wouldn't mind if it went. But, like, I can see why it irritates people, but if it consistently happens,
I don't think,
die
see, the
so
thing is, I
fast.
don't think people...
play more conservatively. If you're rushing in and dying and then going, crew lock, 6-minute crew lock.
Well,
don't
see,
die within
my hypothetical before would be that statement too. Like, I said I got 3 kills, but I don't have enough to spawn my G91. I don't want to use the Saddam to kill tanks. It doesn't work because I don't have APDS on it. I need to shoot planes down. And, I mean, yeah, I guess for a normal person, that'd be dope. Let's just sit in the spawn and wait for a plane. But I'm streaming. I don't want to wait in the spawn and look for a plane. I want to get in a new game. So I get crew locked. You know what I mean? And, like, I'm sure there's a ton of people that are like that. They're just trying to get quick matches and play the game. And,
Again, does crew lock add
reasonably
anything?
strong, actually.
and to be
doesn't-
honest, like, half the team doesn't do shit anyway. I don't care if 3 people fuck off in the beginning of the match. It doesn't do, like, those 3
Literally
people...
half the team dies.
Exactly. Half the team dies and has 0 kills. Like, that's just what happens in War Thunder. Both teams are going to be like that 9 times out of 10. So, like, if one of those guys who's just going to die and get 0 kills fucking Jay's out in the beginning, fine. Just give him a text message and say, you do this 3 more times, you're going to get banned for 30 minutes. Or you're going to get stopped for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a great crew lock system, I think. I don't know.
So they do in CSGO.
Yeah, just tell them that you're going to get punished if you keep doing this. I'd be fine if I got a message like, hey, if you keep leaving matches like this, bro, you're going to get punished. I'd be like, all right, I'm still going to do it. You know? I just don't think it makes sense, like, the way it works. I don't like how if you spawn one vehicle and J out, it's only that vehicle, but if you don't spawn that vehicle at all, you know what I mean? You're either dealing with a death on your scorecard, or you're getting all vehicles that you haven't used.
Yeah.
It's just some matches are lost. It happens. Like sometimes you just don't want to spawn back in. The match is lost. Fuck it. I want to go somewhere else.
It isn't the fact of playing too aggressive, it is it's of getting murked off of spawn and having to deal with the luck. If you get killed coming out of your spawn within 10 with first spawn coming out of your spawn, someone on the enemy team is doing very well.
Or your team has done nothing.
Well, how would they name what map can you shoot into the spawn
Off the bat?
off the bat?
Corellia, you could die within 30 seconds.
Yeah, I suppose.
Fulda, you could die within 30 seconds.
Reckon?
Italy, if you hit that one spot.
If you hit the spot over the town. Fulda, if you both spawn right side, you can see people going left to right to go to the A cap that's out in the field from the hill, and you can get there within 30 seconds. You could get what other maps? I mean, there's a ton of them. Ash River, Normandy. You can get shot down the street or going across the beach within 30 seconds trying to get to the lighthouse spot.
Yeah, but that's not coming out of spawn. That's a tactical choice that you've made to drive past the cap point and go to the lighthouse. That's not.
I think within.
Yeah, but it's not. The statement was murked off of spawn, coming out of spawn.
But I don't think that's what he meant. I'm just gonna take that saying murked off of spawn, meaning like within 30 seconds of you spawning, you're dying, and it's possible on a lot of these maps. That's a huge.
Avoid the spot.
Yeah, but that's the no-brainer thing.
Driving, you're getting shot.
Like really, you really can't avoid it, right?
Maybe adjust the strategy,
Well, yeah, no, I understand that, but we're talking about crew lock. So let's just say you unfairly.
Now we're talking about tactics.
No, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Crew lock.
I keep trying to drive to the lighthouse. I keep getting shot driving to the lighthouse.
Let's say it's your first game.
Maybe the point there isn't that you're getting crew locked, just that you're driving to the lighthouse and getting shot for example.
Yeah, but you're saying every time. You're making the assumption it's every time. What if it's their first time driving to the lighthouse? They get murked off spawn. They don't want to spawn in an AA and they get crew locked. That's what we're talking about.
Don't do that again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and it's 8 minutes that you might just leave and go play Apex Legends. So, that's how War Thunder needs to... That's what I'm saying. They need to do something about it. That's how you lose people from playing. That's why I get so frustrated. I'm sick of getting crew lock.
They need to put out something saying this is why crew lock is still in the game. This is why it exists. This is what... They need to put out something that says that.
But they don't know. That's why. They don't know why it's there. They don't know how it works. Same reason they don't know why that the spot on North Vietnam, the north spot in Vietnam, is not fucking smoothed out. It's just a jagged edge. Because they don't know. They don't play it. They don't care.
At the end of the day, if you're getting shot going to the lighthouse, just angle better.
That's one spot. Yeah, that is true. You should angle better. But, there's a ton of maps where that could happen, theoretically.
Most of...
Middle East? Yeah, Middle East, you could die within 30 seconds.
Those people who work for Gaijin, who aren't devs or anything, they never really experience. An example that I kind of give for this is that the devs themselves never experience crew lock because, one, most of them just play low-tier bombers in arcade, but all of the other ones, they have everything if they want it. So why would they be sweaty and leave a map they don't like or leave a BR they don't want when, grinding is pointless because they've got everything? They would just play to, I guess, have fun. And, they're not going to try hard. They're just going to click on some tanks or click on some planes. And so the devs are probably the least likely people to actually ever experience crew lock. And I guess, the members of the community who play the game and stream it like Sean and they I guess, it's not really fair to speak for them as a whole, but I don't think they would really leave a match because they don't like it or whatever. And even if they did, just play another nation. What does it matter?
Yeah.
It's the people who could probably impact some change on the system are the sorts of people that will never experience it properly.
See, crew lock, I'm making a big deal out of it now because we wanted to talk about small things. I can live with crew lock, obviously, and I probably will have to for the next X amount of years. But forever. But I think, it's such an easy fix. It's such a non-problem now that I don't think it's an issue. I don't think if you magically took it away, I don't think there'd be 4,000 people just instantly jang out every match. You know what I mean?
Crew lock the new parts in FP.
No, I still think parts in FP aren't free, and I'm not done with that either.
They'll never. They can't. They can never make it free.
Yeah, they
Like,
can't.
ever.
It's
They could.
Too many
economic. It
people
makes
have.
no sense.
They,
Too many people have spent gold on it for them. They'd either have to refund probably millions and millions and millions of golden eagles to people, or not refund it. And either way, it's going to annoy people.
well, that's just because
To me, like,
people need to
I think
stop
like
being bitches.
I think like this whole crew lock shit just similar to it's similar to what's that other thing people are complaining about? Oh, the pilot damage. Like it's just
Yeah.
they're
No,
both the
that's
same thing.
stupid.
That's
That's
should go.
stupid.
They both
a
should go.
legacy
They
mechanic.
never make any sense, but they're there.
I
And
got
pilot
Yeah,
people
but
hate 'em.
pilot damage never used to make your plane uncontrollable in
Yeah,
the way that
I
it did.
know. Yeah,
They changed it so that it became uncontrollable,
Yeah,
and at
I know.
that point, it stopped.
Well,
I made this argument on stream with you, didn't I? That it is actually better at this point
Yeah.
to not level up your vitality, so that when your pilot is hit, he dies, rather than sit through that 10, 15 seconds of just plummeting to the ground knowing you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because that's annoying.
If
I got
anyone watching doesn't know, the reason why this is there is because I know a while ago Gaijin were trying to implement kind of consumables that you get with Wobons or whatever, where it was like, oh, increase the stat, whatever, like, or there was like a med kit or whatever. And the reason why pilot damage was there is because it was intended to be curable or fixable. So when you got a red pilot, you could use a consumable, and you'd magically survive that 30mm round that you took from the 262 going head on with you, and
Yeah.
you'd be fine.
Red
And that was
tails.
why, yes, and that's why the mechanic's there, and they never bothered removing it. And I know people have seen the tweet from the guys
So
in social
exactly like
media. It's the tweet from the social media man saying it's being looked into. Doesn't mean it's going to be fixed. It means they're looking into why it's there. So don't get your hopes up.
Yeah,
But
see,
who knows? It might
I
be
mean,
fixed.
I think that's
I mean, that's still.
when you get shot and your pilot gets damaged. What is the first thought that comes into your head?
Die.
Yeah, I wish
Guess
I
I'll
died.
die.
I wish that just killed me. I wish I didn't have to try to do this now. You know what I mean? Just make it a one shot. Make pilot knock out a thing again. I don't care.
Yeah. If I'm in a fighter and I get pilot damage, it's just die. If you're in
You're
like an
gonna
attack
die,
or a
and
bomber
it's
with a gun, where
so
it's like,
frustrating trying to win that with a hurt pilot that I just wish I died off the bat.
initially
Hang on.
the pilot vitality was it's your HP. You level it up so you can take more hits. It shouldn't impact anything really.
For a novice
Like-
pilot, the second 303 bullet hit or comparable shrapnel impact is usually fatal, while a pilot with the vitality maxed out can, with a measure of luck, survive even one hit from a 50 cal machine. Nowhere there does it state in the vitality stat that your controllability is going to be affected.
Exactly.
It's a legacy mechanic. It's really stupid. They shouldn't have added it anyway. Like, there's no benefit for them to have it in the game now. I mean, usually for design decisions that aren't very good, they have some benefit to it. Like parts and FPE, it's terrible for the player base, but they get people spending money on the parts and FPE. For the pilot damage, it was intended so that you could pay to remove it if you got the pilot damage. But in the current way the game's set up, there's literally zero benefit on Gaijin's part for pilot damage to have an impact on your controllability. So there's no reason, like for Gaijin, like on Gaijin's part or for the player base, why it should exist.
Yeah.
It's not fun, it's historical versus playability. It's not, it's the same. It's like if you added tanks randomly catching fire to be historical. It's the same kind of argument on that front.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help playability in the slightest, and there's no reason on either party's side why it should exist. So there's no reason why it should be there.
That was the conversation that happened, didn't it? Is that the tweet was Gaijin responded to a tweet and basically said, yeah, kind of like how German transmissions just break in and this and that. It's realistic, but it's not fun. Or was it they were talking about like Soviet shells shattering, weren't they?
Something.
No, that's what
originally.
no.
Right,
So
fuses.
somebody said
That's what
like,
the original tweet was something like that about different animal qualities or metals or something.
yeah.
And then the Gaijin response was, that's like transmissions breaking. It's realistic, but it's not fun. And then Mike Goes Boom was like, pilot damage. That's the whole sort of
Yeah.
context of it.
It's
I don't
true.
know.
It's not
I hope
realistic,
that'll get
so.
passed on because it was more public.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what he meant by that was that I will personally see as to why it's still in the game, not I will see as to why it's in the game and possibly remove it. It's I wonder why kind of thing. It's not like we're looking into it to fix it. That's not the intention. Obviously, they should be looking into it to fix it because
Remove, not
find
fix.
well
Exactly.
synonymous. It's like what's there's no reason why it's there for any party. There's no beneficial reason why it exists. It annoys the player base, and Gaijin make nothing from it. So, one reason why it's there.
You see this whole bad War Thunder. Like you look at a game like Apex, 10 million users in a single week. Where you look at, we have never hit over 5 or something. It's
You can't really fairly compare a niche game to one that anybody can play.
It's true.
I don't know if that's fair.
We shouldn't compare. Like War Thunder is not even.
I was just trying to make a segue, but it's.
I know. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. We have anything else that we really don't like about these little things that we were talking about? Because everything, to be honest, everything that we talked about today is just something that personally I don't enjoy, but I deal with and have been and will still.
One thing I'd quite like, if they keep the ARRB model the same and don't want to put too much work into fixing it or changing it rapidly, what I'd like to see them do is give a weekly kind of set of tasks kind of thing. So it's like first one lions, second one decal, third one camo, and it's like you need to play a particular. You can choose between a particular aircraft or something like that, or if it's a set of aircraft. And my idea for it is that you get something from playing them, but it's kind of matched. So you'd get separate ones like play the Dauntless and take out a few ships and you get something, but there was another one where it was like play a Japanese float plane and you get a similar reward. So it would kind of populate a particular area while also giving a reward to people. And
It's kind of
also
cool. It's kind of like the EC thing where you'd get missions to do the same thing but on opposing sides.
Yeah, so it would give people a reason to play something that isn't necessarily super populated, and for at least someone like me, I won't play a vehicle if there's nothing to grind for it and it's spaded. There's no reason to play it. But if there was a challenge come up or whatever, and it was like play this and you get a thing, cool. I want to get a thing. I'll play it, and I think something like that would be a win-win. There's so many people making camos and decals all the time. It's like they could definitely do that, and it would help. I'd like to see something like that added soon.
Agreed.
Like a short-term, not really fix in any way, but it would help populate certain places that aren't super populated at the moment.
I agree. I like that idea.
Definitely.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
I mean, why do they remove skins? Like was it the Eric Hartman CL13 skin?
Mm-hmm.
They removed all of those because they were made. Well, they were done through the old kind of community contribution program where it was
Right.
they were all from the marketplace and they'd get paid. I can't remember if it was they got paid for how many people bought the skin in game or how many people if the skin was a skin they'd get a flat fee or whatever. But they removed all of those. Okay, well, they removed all of them to eventually be put onto the marketplace. So that was the reason why. That's the reason they gave, as far as I know, anyway.
I wanted it and I never bought it.
Guess who's got it?
Too.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go fly Eric Hartman CLs, guys.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, Noah went over it on Reddit, but
yeah,
honestly, how many times did they actually purchase skins from users? It was 2 runs or something like that, wasn't it? It was pretty.
As far as I know, it was one. I think it was one.
Noah had the 262 skin. He had the CL skin, and that was pretty much it. That's the only person I know who actually made skin.
Yeah, I got a few of them. I got a few of them at the end when I knew they were removing them as well, so I could pretend to be.
Yeah, it's smart actually, though.
Yeah, that's a shame because I think it would really what I miss back when I was playing in 2012, whenever every. See, I can't even remember because my memory's kind of full of holes. Whether it was every weekend or every other day, they had an event, an aircraft event, where it was on one map and there were 2 historical lineups. So it was yeah.
Was it every day?
Yeah.
Or was it like
Initially
once a week?
Nope, it was every day, and then they shifted it to once a week, and then it became, you know,
That was great
I
because
enjoyed
it's
that a lot.
like if you like a particular map, you've got it all day. If a plane you like's there, you've got it all day. You're not going to get up tiered, you're not going to get shut up like that. And I think that works really well. And if they made current events like that through do something on a particular map or do such and such, you get a decal, you get a camo, that'd be great. It would give people an excuse to play things that aren't necessarily played very much. And it's like when you consider the amount of effort and time it takes to put into a plane model, like it's several like not hundreds, like tens of thousands to make a plane model, like to the level that Gaijin make it. And like with a vehicle that no one's really going to play, like I know it's not a plane, but like the Su-57B, who's playing that? No one's playing that because it's dreadful. No one wants to play that. You got to make certain aspects of the game that have taken like a lot of time and effort. There needs to be a reason to play them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with planes. And I think it's such like it would be really easy, at least from an outsider perspective, to implement. Give some incentives to doing it, and it would populate areas. And I think it's a shame like that they're not doing that, especially with the way ARB is at the moment. General consensus is that it's dead and no one's playing it. We'll just get people to play a condensed pocket of it and give them a reason to, and you'll do fine.
So what would you like have like historical skins to aces or bomber
Yeah,
pilots, whatever?
definitely.
Like
I'd
I
have
don't know
it.
what the Su-57B is.
It's awful. It's like a budget hetzer, but
Oh,
it's like yeah, if they did it so maybe you had 5 tasks or whatever. Like the easy one, I don't know. Like hypothetically, you're playing the Dauntless. Take out 5 ships, you get 50k lions. Take out 2 planes in one life, you get a decal. Kill 10 players with a tail gunner over the course of a week, you get a camo. That's great. You've got something to show for your work. More people, you could do one for the A6M2N, like the float plane.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same thing. Take out how many bombers, kill a certain amount of enemies in one life, decal camo. It populates an area of the matchmaker, and you get something for it. Like if there was like a rare camo or whatever, like going for a week, hell yeah, I'd be all over that, and I think a lot of people would be as well, because you can use that, in normal matches. Same with decals. Like a decal's only on there for like the bi-weekly ones. You fulfill a task, and in the 2 weeks, you get to put it on anything forever, and it's a good incentive. And I think they're missing out.
Yeah, Flight of the Swallows was sick.
Hell yeah,
especially in
dude.
Sim.
Yeah, that was.
it always comes back to Flight of the Swallows,
I
doesn't it?
loved it, and everybody loved it.
Everybody loved it. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
But it does always come
It's
back
like
to that.
it was like the perfect event because it's like on one side you get to club in the 262s, and if you're in the Mustang, you feel incredible when you knock a jet out. It's a great feedback loop, and it worked really.
To be fair, I think the
Yeah.
Curse event worked really well as well. Not like the tank one, but like the aircraft.
Yeah, it was a good event.
The thing is, I mean, we're hashing over trodden ground now, but like, I would like to see historical events where you don't select what you play. You just
Yeah, I kind of
take
like
a
that.
number and you get given something.
That'd
Like-
be sick.
Like for El Alamein battles, take a number. Oh, you're a Crusader. Good luck.
Yeah,
Take
be
a
fun.
number. Oh, you're a Tiger this time.
As long as they kind
fun.
of made it very honest that it was completely random, and it wasn't that like the players over like a certain win rate got shafted and average players got the good stuff. As long as they were very open about
Or
completely random.
give you like how Siege does its alpha pack chances, where if you don't get the good thing, slightly
The
increases
next-
your chance the next time.
Yeah, that's
And
probably the
maybe
best
give
way to do
a
it.
pool of vehicles that sit in this sort of top bracket, like a Churchill or a Tiger. Like because I know in that video I made, I was talking about Churchill's influence. There wasn't any Tigers there, I don't think. Was there? An anime?
I think they had like
Don't know. Will not definitively say because cannot remember.
it's best not to go into that rabbit hole, otherwise the neats
Yeah.
will emerge and smother you with logic. Not a good time.
Yeah. So, are you streaming, Kat?
Not right now.
You gonna?
Soon.
Has to.
Well, I thought you were gonna go do the Apexes.
I am, but I don't think I'm gonna stream it right away.
Platoon 4 Tigers in Leningrad in 23rd of September. Second Battle of El Alamein was October to November.
Tank football needs to be permanent.
No mention of the Tiger in El
Yeah,
Alamein.
tank football was sick, dude.
Tank football was a good time.
It was.
Nobody liked it aside from me.
It was
I think.
great. Yona, if they do that, they get locked out of the game. They get locked out of the game. Exactly the same like what we were talking about earlier on. If you keep quitting because you're not getting the good boys, then you don't get any build up towards the good boys. Like say you queue, Allied or Axis or whatever, and you would have an independent little stacky thing for each team, and then maybe you get choice of vehicles, or when you get above a certain threshold, you get to choose, but then you'd only get to choose until that threshold is gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you play 5 games that is completely random, and then you get 2 games where you can choose, for example. And you could choose not to play the big boy.
Yeah.
I found the best camo for the R3, by the way.
Nice.
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 I probably will stream, but I was gonna be a.
No. We should stream now and do a pre-stream.
I've got no drinks. I've run out of tea and stuff. It's not a good time.
You need like a
I don't
backpack with just tea in it for sure.
I need a Burko boiler in my room. Obviously, I know what a Burko boiler is.
No, I don't know.
Are
What
those
tea
really
is.
on the challengers?
Not Burkos. Burkos are big, massive metal things that you get at like family functions that are just full of hot water.
Are there really tea things in the chalice?
BVs are only like from like this.
So yeah,
They're like what, a foot and a bit.
they got
square.
tea things in the chalice though.
Yeah, you just put a bit of water in and plug it in. It's in all British armoured vehicles because you can't underestimate the power of hot food. Like, I mean, sure, you could use FRHs as well, but they get really, really, really. And if they fall and pop, you've got really, really, really hot chemical heat all over the inside of your armoured vehicle, fumes everywhere. Not good. BV, just flick it on. It's like a kettle.
You know,
Great idea. Don't know why Americans find it funny.
because
Great.
tea is whack.
It's not even about tea though. You
It's like
just
shitty
chuck loads
coffee.
of rations in there and a little bit of water, and it heats up really quick.
That's
Our
dope.
MREs are self-heating. We don't need any of that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. FRH is flameless ration heaters. Like when you put a little bit of water in there, and it does a chemical reaction and heat. You don't want that exposed and falling over and spilling all over the shop inside an armored vehicle.
Nah, you breathe that in for freedom.
You ever hear about it was like the Taliban, the guy burned an American flag inside a hut, and the weatherproofing on the flag when it burned killed him.
Yikes.
That's freedom coming at you from all angles. They got us good.
Karma sounds like a bald eagle screaming, dude.
They probably did. He was like, ah! He got converted to an eagle. I wonder if it's
TOS or
No, it's a joke. I made that up, Kat. That never happened.
funny.
Made it up completely. Don't fuck with America.
yikes.
All
Oh,
three
I was
guns.
gonna go make tea though. I was gonna hope that you were gonna have a conversation. I was just like,
Start.
BRB.
Start your stream. Have like a starting soon thing. Go make tea, and by the time you're back, everybody's gonna be waiting for you.
Don't know if it's gonna be longer than 5
Okay,
minutes.
let's talk about Apex then. Should go make tea.
I just want to play it.
Talk about
I don't even
Apex.
want to talk about
Talk
it.
about Apex.
I
Talk
want
about
to play
Apex.
it.
Alright, I'll be back in like not long. Sorry, no, it's gone black, but privacy. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Dude, like honestly, like it's so impressive to me. Like Apex has hit 10 million players in a week. Like that's.
But have
that's
you
nuts.
played it?
Yeah, I have. Like played
Do
2
you
games
like
with my brother, and I lost all of them. And I yelled at him, and it was okay.
You
I
are
think, like-
terrible at games.
Now I'm decent at games. Just
You're
you
not.
know, I'm pretty good at
Not
games.
at all.
Decent at games.
Highly debatable.
Yeah, Crocs?
Maybe if I spent more time of my time playing video games, I'd be decent at it again. But don't have much time. But again, like I played with him, and I think like the characters, like yeah, they're cool. They're kind of unique and they have
Before you
different
continue
abilities.
this, I just want to harp on that statement. Oxy, what did he say he did last night for 6 hours? Play War Thunder?
Yeah, I did. It
Do you
was
need more than
sad, dude.
6 hours to learn how to play a game?
I don't think we won many games either, to be honest with you. It was
But yeah, no, the characters are sick. So Oxy,
But are they
you
though?
haven't played it yet, right?
Are they
I've
sick though?
watched
Like,
a lot of streams. I haven't played.
I
but are they
like.
like to me like they don't add anything, right? Like it's like the abilities are cool and all that, but I
No,
think
they
it's more about
definitely add
gameplay.
some stuff, but I think that the biggest thing that I like about that game is how intuitive it is. So they made everything so simple, even though it's a complex game technically, but it works
Yeah,
with the standard battle royale thing. So like you find a gun, you find attachments for it. Attachments go from white, blue, purple, yellow. But what I really
What are
like is
those?
what?
Like, what are those giant fucking like giraffe-looking things that are lurking in the water? That
Oh, I
threw
don't
me.
know. It's just
What
like
are they doing?
some alien thing. I don't know.
Like,
same guys who made like Titanfall, so it's
Yeah.
it's
what's
in
the
that universe.
lore of it?
I have
What, like,
no
because I
idea on the
mean,
lore.
There's a whole Titanfall like lore that I know
like all
nothing
the
about.
characters' faces are on like the banners around, and it's like, are they
Yeah,
real?
it
Like,
has
what's
its own
going
lore.
on?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it has
about
its own
like the
lore.
battle
It
royale
threw me.
thing. Yeah, it's like, but so everything's really intuitive. Let's say you kill a guy, it will show his box from far away the color of the best items he has. So like if he only has purple stuff, he'll have purple box, and then you can run up, and is when you get closer to the box, it turns less purple, and
Yeah,
then you
there's no inspecting and all that shit that
yeah, and then
other
you
games
click on
do
it
too.
quick, and you see the things you want, you grab it, it goes straight to your gun. When you're pinging things, it's just the middle mouse button.
That's
And you
dope.
can look at literally anything in the game and it will ping it different depending on what it is. You could look at a piece of armor and your character, if you ping it, it will be like level 2 armor here. And it'll actually say that for your teammates. You don't have to talk at all. If you
Yeah,
see an
like, that's the
enemy
thing. Like,
and you middle mouse button on them, it says enemy in the ridge 400 meters to the right. You know what I mean? Like your character will say it, it'll pop up on the map, it'll be a 3D object. So like pinging shit and moving around and the speed in which you can move is really nice. Like you never feel like in PUBG where you're just running in the woods, or in Fortnite where you're just running in the woods waiting to do shit or waiting to see people. Like you're constantly sliding, moving up, looting shit, constantly sliding. Again, the gunfights, the gun
the gun had
play
no
feels
wall
really
jumps
good.
as well.
Yeah, it's got.
There's no like tedious limitations for things like that from what I've seen, which is pretty cool. Like, I kind of like.
Well, have you guys played Titanfall at all? I
Yeah,
played the first one. I didn't play the second
I
one.
played the first one.
Like, the fluidity in that game it's so sick. Like movement especially.
Yeah,
Like
it was sick.
Call of Duty tried to copy it, but it was like a better version of it. And once they had like wall jumps, like with the slides and all, like this game has been like to me it's that middle ground between PUBG and Fortnite where you have the fast gameplay,
I
but like a
like
crisp gunplay. But you have no building, so I like it
I
much.
like the
much.
crisp gunplay. I like that there's no building. I like that you can climb things and use verticality. I like how fast you can move around the map. I like how intuitive it is, and the gunplay is just really good. Like the different guns feel all very different. They all do different things. I like how you could have a guy with a pistol that's fully modded. That's like a revolver, and it does just as much damage as like an AR, or it does more damage than an AR. But like the way the recoil and stuff works, like if you're a skilled player, you might want to use a Magnum and an AR. You know what I mean? And try to get those headshots. And headshots mean
But
a lot, and armor means a
I
lot.
was gonna say that to me, like might because I just played it twice or whatever, but the time to kill seemed a bit long. But I wasn't really aiming for a head. I was just aiming for a center
We'll
of
see.
mass.
It all
So
depends on what gun you have and the mods for it too. Like you could get,
okay.
you could have a fully legendary gun, right? So like, you could have all the yellow attachments for whatever gun you have, and you'll kill pretty fast depending on like where you're hitting them. If you hit them in the head, how much armor they have, how much, and like the way you have to pull back and shield up, and the different varieties of like shield and healing. It's really good. I think it's really good. It makes looting fun because you have to find certain things. It makes the gunplay fun because like you got to win the gunfights, and I don't know. It's just a really fun game.
Well, for me, like, dude, what sold it to me is right at work. A lot of my buddies have Xbox. I bought an Xbox just to play with them, but I hate consoles.
Hmm.
It's cool for Netflix, but otherwise it's horrible. A bunch of other friends at work have PS4, and I'm like, hey, this game Apex came out. We can all play together, and we've been, scheduled to play together. We haven't yet, but the fact that's actually an option is pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
to me,
It
like if
seems
you
Have you
like,
seen Have you seen Gaijins push about crossplay?
No, I have not. But that's
They've
what they should do.
been
Yeah,
saying,
that would be
"Hey,
massive
Sony,
go.
let us." Yeah, they did. It's like all over their social medias. They were like, "We were the first cross-platform game, blah blah blah," but no cross-platform between Xbox and
Consoles.
PS4, and they've been going quite hard at it.
It's me,
So
like every
Gaijin
game
wants it.
every game should have that, right? Like I think if you want to play like The Last of Us, you buy a PS4. You want to play an Xbox game exclusive, you buy an Xbox PC. You just build a PC, whatever. But I think all multiplayer should just be
Yeah,
cross-platform. Like it makes the most
cross-platform's
sense.
sick. It's sick. I mean, you always have those people who are like, "Meh, it's not as good." Meh.
Here's a question, because
My
you know
console's better.
how PS4 players that are playing on PC
Yeah, still
are
have.
limited by certain PS4 things.
Yeah.
I don't think they can change their name, can they?
Mm-mm.
They
I-
can't. No.
So, if a PS4 player is playing on PC, can they play with Xbox players?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
They have like a
can.
different. They have like a different like symbol next to their name or whatever. Like it's
Well,
just.
yeah,
Like,
obviously the PS4
So
players
you
have a
could-
star and the Xbox players have a little chevron.
You could temporarily, I don't know if it's still the case, but you could kind of trick your way into a custom game with an Xbox player if you're on PC. And it carried some quite harsh ramifications, apparently, if any particular parties found out it was possible in the game. But I don't know if that's possible anymore. I know it was at some point.
Hmm.
Well, Kat, are you going live?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
His eyes.
Look at this, guys. Look at this chat. Hold on. Not Streamception. Anything but that. Anything but
no.
Streamception.
Dreamception. What are you looking at my channel at you?
You're hosting odd. This is
I won't be
yeah.
for long. I've just put the stream.
like
This
what
is-
was your
What?
KD like in the
In,
decent or
in what?
in PUBG?
Oh, it was decent. I played a lot of PUBG when I first started. Like
See, I
when-
didn't.
I played a ton. I played a lot with Royal. I played a lot with myself.
Did you play the other ones there? What was it H1Z1 and then there was one.
Yeah, I
before
played
that?
H1Z1. I've played pretty much all of them. Played Fortnite for a bit.
H1Z1 was sick with the customization.
It was pretty dope.
Game which
played-
is imbalanced as fuck.
Yeah, it was shoddy mayhem.
Are you boys going to play?
I'm gonna go play. I think I have to go to the bathroom
make
and I
food
want to
first.
eat something. Yeah.
Play War Thunder.
I
Oh,
really have to poop and then I'll. Oh,
yeah. You
Bro,
got
you playing Apex.
Carry Croc. Carry
I'll play
Croc.
after I poop. I just gotta poop.
Operation Carry Croc.
You're hosting odd again. What is good?
It's live now, so let the host go away and you'll
It went away for a second and then it was back up.
refresh the page.
All right, it's good now.
It's like when you play in an hour or whatever.
Possibly.
Yeah, just message me. I'll play War Thunder until then.
All right, chat. Go join Kat. She's gonna be playing the best of the tanks and avoiding crew lock at all costs.
I mean, shall I see if I can actually play an entire day without getting crew locked?
Yeah, let's see.
That'd be interesting.
You have to change the title to no crew lock here. Dab. All right. Well, it was fun, guys.
So you should shout out your content and all that before you fucking end it. But
I should shout out Kath's content. Kath, this is Kath's channel that we're going to be hosting.
everyone's
Oxy makes
content.
video.
Shout out my DeviantArt, please.
Check out Croc's DeviantArt. He's got a lot of lewd stuff there.
Yeah, a lot of
Sonic.
Sonic.
And you can find me in the links in the description down below.
You can find us in the all
We
sorts
also-
of links as well on Slick's channel if you want to.
Yep, we also have Discord for the Angle Better podcast where we do this every Sunday, give or take. Some Sundays
We do.
Some Sundays, listen, we're adults. The alcohol gets to us. All right, we can't wake up. That happens to Croc and me more than anybody else, but sometimes it happens. So if you guys feel free to click those links, get ready to host the Cat Fowler.
I'd appreciate a judgment-free zone next time, but
That would be
it's fine.
true. Yeah.
What about your DeviantArt?
Yes.